following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
This isn't just a game, this is iRacing.
After weeks and weeks of racing, from super speedways to short tracks to mile and a halves, even a road course last week, it is time that we find out who makes the playoffs and who does not make the playoffs in the Sim500
NC811 Xfinity Series, as we get you ready for the final race of the regular season. 80 laps and just a little over 200 miles of racing ready to go here. In just a few moments, we'll try to talk to a driver or two here before we get started in qualifying. Otherwise, we'll get you ready for qualifying and get you ready for what could be some pretty wild racing. Practice going on right now, of course, just a few minutes left in that. And these cars will get out there on track and race hard. And as we know in this series, these guys put on a show normally in the super speedway racing, not to mention in this B car, which is one of the favorites for a lot of these drivers to race in. Let's get ready to put on a good show here tonight. I think we're going to be in for it. All right, let's take a look at the point standings as we go into this final race. And you're going to notice I did not do the top 25 like I usually do. The top 9 are locked into the playoffs, so we're going to a point, ignore them tonight. We're going to look at these 13 drivers right here that sit within 80 points of each other, from John Schweikert all the way down to Tommy Ryan. Now, you're like, Captain, there's 18 points, or there's 80 points separating them all. Well, Brent Scott is the bubble guy right now. In the 16th position, he has 10 points over Eric Arnold, 13 over Josh Parker. He has, quick math here, was that 19 over Kevin Stone. And you go down to Brian Wortman, who's got a legit shot, JP Phillips, and even Tommy Ryan has a legit shot. With the amount of drivers I am seeing right now, we're getting close to 40. That means there is a chance that Tommy Ryan could slide into the playoffs here tonight. Believe it or not. There are drops that, of course, have been incorporated into this. So there's a lot of give and take with numbers and so on and so forth. But either way, things could happen here tonight that you could see any of these 13 drivers in the playoffs when it's all said and done. Now, obviously, there's 13 drivers. There's 7 spots right here. So, you do the math. 6 of them are good. 6 of them are not going to be good by the end of tonight when it's all said and done. The reason why I show all 13 of these is because mathematically, the 10th place guy could end up out of the playoffs tonight. The 22nd guy could end up in the playoffs tonight. It's very interesting how that all could play out when it's all over with after Talladega. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Every super speedway race in Sim500 and even in other series, it's usually coming down to us last lap wreck coming to the start-finish line. So when we take the white flag tonight, just know that the race officially starts to see who makes the playoffs at that moment, if you're able to survive, if you want to call the heat race that happens before that final lap. Kind of interesting to call it that way, but when you break it down into the realm of what tonight means for these drivers, that's basically what it comes down to. Is there's going to be cautions, probably there's going to be wrecks. Now, when that big wreck happens on the final lap, or if it happens on the final lap, it's at that point you first have to get through it and then get to the start-finish line to see potentially if somebody like Kevin Stone could all of a sudden gain 20 points on Brent Scott and jump into the playoffs. If Eric Arnold can gain 11 points and jump Brent Scott. If Kevin DeBrown, who's 1 point above Brent Scott, all of a sudden falls out. If Calantoni falls out. If Gillenwater falls out. If Rivera, you look right here, 12th down to 16th is only 7 points. That's 7 positions. Anything can happen tonight. It's Talladega, and that's why I said that tonight would probably be the wildest Sim 500 race we see in a very long time when it's all said and done. So let's talk with the Bubble Guy and see how he's exactly feeling here this evening as we get ready to go qualifying. He could easily say here there's no pressure on him. He could say there's a ton of pressure on him. We'll have to see when it is all said and done as we scroll all the way down and we go looking for him here, because I'm starting to wonder if he's even in his channel. As I look for Brent Scott, I want to say this potentially is him, but I could be right. It's probably Scott Simley, actually. So, yeah, Brent's, this could be Brent right here, maybe. No, this is only this is the hard part for me, is sometimes these names do not pop up in, yep, there's Brent. I found him. I just have to go full screen on the chat when it's all said and done. As Brent joins us here this evening. Brent, obviously, you know why I'm here to talk to you, buddy. You're you're in the 33 car, you're 16th in points, and you go into a track where most of this race you have absolutely no control over what you can do. How important is it to control the parts you can control tonight to get yourself in? That is never a good thing when Brent doesn't respond. It means he didn't hear the question. Oh, man. We'll try to... Oh, you know what? He moved... Or did he? Okay. Yeah, we'll check back with Brent here in a second, and we'll get him back down there with first qualifying and try to get back to him here, but just a little miscommunication there, unfortunately. That was a good question, by the way. All right, qualifying about to begin. It is presented by E11. Of course, know what's below and call before you dig. It's one of those where you're like so excited to do the interview, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't happen. Sigh. All right. Of course, we know the usual suspects to watch tonight. If those who don't like spoilers, I'll plan them on you right now. Usually Tommy Ryan and Tyler Dalton are on the front row. Let's see if anybody can spoil this, which is entirely possible. That's why we do this at Talladega Superspeedway. And you have to run qualifying laps. All right, let's get the sound on for the guys. As Matthew Martell, coming off a second-place run last week, ever so close to getting that win at Watkins Glen. He is the qualifier here, one of the few, and of course you're going to see a lot of cars get out here. First lap will be the throwaway lap, and then of course the second lap will be the lap of record. So when you see the times pop up here, you're going to notice I put best time also is going to be highlighted on there, so that you'll see the first lap that they run, and then they'll come back, and you'll see probably the whole grid move around, because obviously people logging their second lap of time. About 3/4 of the field right now is on track. Let's actually do this. Let's hit exciting, and we'll let the camera jump around to whoever it wants to here. There's Martell, and there's the one of John Schweikert. There's the 16 car tonight. That being driven by Sean Macklin. This is, I believe, the brother to Brian Macklin, who's here on track. The Haas Mustang. There's the Dunkaroos number 26 of Jose Gonzalez. Oh, he's pulled out a wild card for a paint scheme here. I like it. And still waiting on the first cars to log laps. Here we go. Martell, the first one, 54:29. Schweikert, 54:87. Barry with a 55:30. Matthew Wild with a 54:59. As Doy Woods, 54.25 right now is the pole. But again, those times are probably going to drop a good 2 seconds here at least as they come to the start-finish line. And you still see some times registering here of people crossing the start-finish line as here comes Sean Macklin across. As Gonzalez goes to the top of the 54.22, Macklin 54.834 right now in his first lap. There's the 43 of Joe Hudson. You see the different lines everybody's running as Mac McMillan goes to the top, 54.18. And that might have been a bottom lap, so surprisingly not as I thought these cars would be a little faster on the bottom. We'll have to see here. I think I said 2 seconds a little bit ago. That might be a little exaggerative. Oh, well, that's interesting. The 16 Rex as O'Rourke crosses the line. 54.21. That looked weird. Looked something broke or something, like his wheel or something. Hopefully everything's okay there. As Tommy Ryan to the top, 54.18. And that's a flat 18, not a 1.84 that you see McMillan run. And right on cue goes the first of the two people I thought would probably be on the front row this evening. And Wesley Donaldson with an 18. Knocks Tommy Ryan off the pole. Like I said, anything can happen. That's why you run qualifying, right? I mean, it's literally, look at that, 178 to a 1.8. That's two 100s. And here comes Tyler Dalton. You see the purple on that name. Right down on the line. Does he knock Wesley off the pole? Yes, he does. 54-15. Tyler does it again. But it's not officially over yet. We still got other cars out. Here's Chad Coleman. Stephen Miles, 54-19, goes 7th. Here's Chad Coleman across the line, and he got there. I thought he got there in time. But he's going to be 33rd, unfortunately. So 43 cars qualify as we get ready to go racing here at Talladega. And, of course, the pole laps presented by 811. Know It's Below. Call before you dig. Let's go trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right. We get you ready for the starting lineup here. From Talladega Superspeedway, 43 cars ready to go as Tyler Dalton wins the pole as he continues his record-setting career in Sim500 as he runs a 54-15 outrunning Wesley Donaldson. Tommy Ryan, Mac McMillan there, row number 2. Row 3, Jeff Ryan, Joe Hudson. Good qualifying effort for the number 6, Stephen Miles. E.J. O'Rourke, he's a Daytona winner in the Xfinity cars on a super speedway, so he knows what he's doing there. John Schweikert, Jimmy Coleman, row 5, row 6, Brian Macklin, and J.P. Phillips. Row 7, Jose Gonzalez, Bob Gillenwater, Anthony Calantoni, Glenn Campbell, Braxton DeWeese, Mike Kelly, Nelson Rivera, and the driver, who I tried to talk to a minute ago, but he wasn't there, so let's try to talk to him again as we show you the rest of the starting lineup. Brent Scott, you got a copy?
Company.
All right, but Brent, you got a copy, bud?
Do what? Yeah.
Hey, it's Chris. Hey,
Hey, Chris.
16th in points, obviously, tonight. A lot of stuff out of your control, but what can you control tonight?
I need to do better than I've done the last few weeks. I've ran terrible. I missed Pocono because we were working on trying to get the new brokerage open here in Mobile with Better Homes and Gardens Platinum Properties. So, yeah, I mean, we got that up and rolling, and, you know, buying and selling homes all across the South here, but unfortunately it's messed with the hobby a little bit. So
Understand. Well, best of luck here, man. Hopefully you can work yourself into the playoffs, have yourself a good run, miss the big wrecks, and, well, it's Talladega, so it's either you're going to be in or you're going to be out.
yeah. It's a crapshoot, as
much.
it always is at the plate races, but it'll be okay. I enjoy these a lot, and if it's got to be anywhere for a cut race, Talladega is a good one for me. So I'd stand as good a chance as anybody else, right?
That's the way you look at it, and you're in the perfect Discord channel. Dale, yeah. So, you know
Absolutely.
what they say? Raise hell, praise Dale, right?
That's right, Chris. That's right. Thanks for chatting me up here.
You too, buddy. As we get ready to come to the green flag, that was Brent Scott. As we look at the race information tonight, 80 laps of racing here. Of course, the iRacing default weather, 3 sets of tires, 2 overtimes if necessary. And 16 drivers after tonight will race for a championship in the Sim500 NC811.org Xfinity Series. But first, they must qualify and get through Talladega. As the green flag waves, we're underway from the 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway. And our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. And if you're not used to watching, like I talk about all the time, all the different super speedway races you see in all the leagues that are on the Captain Esports Network, usually the wild one is this right here, this B car at Talladega in Sim500 already. Look at Doy Woods heading to the top as we got some trouble towards the back already here. Randy Yoakum has gone around a few others. I don't see a caution yet. Yeah, we're still green. That was interesting. Not the way you want to start. Brian Wortman, who's a driver that's racing in for the playoffs, was back there kind of tangled up in that. So, interesting. Yeah, if you got a big TV, this is definitely the race to put on there. Already, you see, we saw for a second there, Doy Woods went to the top, but here comes EJ bringing that top side. Doy Woods up there with him. You see John Schweikert in 1. The 16 back there, that's Sean Macklin. That's what these guys do. And here comes the 88 up top there. That Bully Dog Coffee Company car checks up that top lane. But there's a couple of drivers that we'll talk about, EJ being one of them, that will be the aggressors this evening. EJ O'Rourke, Kevin DeBrown, to name a few. Kevin DeBrown will push anything. And what I mean by anything is if he could, he'd push the pace car. The 31 of Eric Arnold. Going to be another one to watch. Some of these guys, they will literally take any piece of real estate it takes to get up there. And you see I'm already sorting out 2, 3 wide. Couple cars already aborting, going to the back. Brian Macklin being one of them. There's a reason why Brian won 3 straight Daytona 500s, or Daytona 500Ks and Sim 500 going into this season. He knows how to get it done on the super speedway. As not sure if the 88 went down the block or got out of shape there. Didn't see it with the camera angle. But O'Rourke already to the lead from the 8th position on lap 7. Any questions from anybody so far? This is what they do. They get out here, usually during the off season, they'll run some Super Speedway series. Of course, they do Friday Night Thunder. They have a Talladega series that's running right now on Tuesday nights, where they pretty much put different cars like the Next Gen or the B car, the truck, or whatever on Talladega. So there's so much experience in this series racing with each other on these tracks. So to us, this might be like, what in the world are they doing? They're about to wad it up. To us, though, this is Sunday to Sim500. If you got friends who are fans of this stuff, send them a link. Send them over to the Captain Esports Network to watch this race. EJ not afraid to make that top side work right now. Right on board with the old Dunkaroos, number 26 of Jose Speedy Gonzalez. 192 miles an hour down into turn 1, right in the middle. Nowhere to go. I mean, if there's issues anywhere around, you're not going anywhere. Miles down there on the bottom side. You saw Seth Foudy up there in the top of the 11. There's Mike Kelly, who's won about every Super Speedway race this season possible, as McMillan aborts goes to the back. Should mention Keith Haney did not take the green flag, so 42 cars officially have started this race. And look at that line. From the 09, a lot of these guys are probably running their first laps and they're like, oh wait, what did I sign up for? The others are like, yeah, we're good. 43's car on the bottom side, Joe Hudson. And like I said earlier, 9 cars already qualified for the points. Braxton Deweese has already clinched the regular season championship, so there's obviously nothing that a lot of these guys have to lose tonight. I mean, obviously for those who are already eliminated on points, the only thing you can do is go out here and just try to win this race. So for a lot of these guys, the best thing and only thing really you can do is go out here and win. See, the 88's lost a draft back there a little bit. So I want to go back to lap 1 and see what in the world transpired. Because there was some kind of issue on the back straightaway going into turn 3. It had Randy Oakham and others getting out of shape here. So let's go here. Oh, contact right there. That's the 78 of Barry Stevens gets turned. And I think, yeah, it was John Mustian who got into him. Kevin Stone, Randy Oakham, and others getting involved. Definitely weird. And I just noticed Justin Fuller's come into the room, but obviously, hey, just Mustian got into the 78 there. I'm not sure what that was about. No caution from it. Everybody stayed pretty straight and sideways, I guess. J.P. Phillips, who started 12th, now up to the lead as he's getting pushed by the Dunkaroo number 26 car. Matthew Martell, the 51, he said last week was his best chance to win a race. I might disagree with him slightly and say this one might be your best chance to win a race too. You know, in all technicality too, when you look at it, the best chance to win a race is always your next one. That blank black and red car, that is Josh Parker in the 81, started all the way in the back. Up 31 spots, bringing Sean Macklin with him in the 16. In the race tonight in the 58. A couple of different names in the field tonight we'll have to keep an eye on too. Here's your regular season champion back here, Braxton DeWeese. They'll try with him in the 5 car. Obviously he's just going to hang out here right behind Brian Macklin. It's probably a pretty good one to follow right there. Perfect view where you can kind of see, they always talk about, like in driving, there's these Smith 5 keys of defensive driving that you learn in a lot of the driving classes when you are a CTV driver or whatever, an 18-wheeler. The first, one of the first parts of the 5 keys is aim, high, and steering. And what that means is you want to look about 15 seconds ahead when you're driving a big truck, right? Well, this is where when I drive these kind of cars and I'm in this kind of race, I'm looking up there at the front of the pack right now. I can see in my peripherals what's going on with Macklin or Stephen Miles in front of me, but I want to see what's going on up front there, because one little contact and you got to have time to put yourself in the right position to misdirect. The problem here for Braxton is, well, there's this. People behind him. So then he's got to work with these 3 guys to make sure that he doesn't jam the brake right on Chad Coleman there and then all of a sudden end up in the wall himself. It's kind of a predicament that you don't want to put yourself in. As the bottom sign, Wesley Donaldson. The top sign is Jordan Berry in the 18 car. And Josh Parker is wobbling. Oh, he's still wobbling back there. Get off his bumper. That car was all kinds of light on its feet. Macklin had to get out of the gas there to keep the 81 from going around. That just destroyed the top side's momentum. Mike Kelly back here, of course, the Daytona winner. I said earlier, he knows how to get it done on these super speedways. He'll find his way in the right spot to go to victory lane when it's all said and done. Look at some of the history here on super speedway tracks. Let's see, load up here. I'm going to share some numbers and some interesting stats and some guys that you need to look maybe at here later on in this race to find them up there towards victory lane or towards the front of the field. You see right now, about 3/4 of the pack going single file here. And that's probably just to take a break with each other or something for a second. Then they'll probably fire it back up and get going. Back here, kind of a calm before the storm type of thing here. Of course, the July Daytona race, Stephen Miles went to victory lane in that. Ooh, Martell, easy. Got too high there. Almost got crossed up. All right, so 15 laps in the books. I hate to do this during this race, but it's the 2 or 3 races that I cringe every time I play a spot. But we want to take care of our great people at NCAA 111. They do a great job with obviously helping out, helping us make great decisions when it comes to digging and stuff like that. So let's take care of our business here and hear from NC811, and we'll come back to more racing here from Talladega.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
Back we are at Talladega Superspeedway is... Oh boy! Oh no, no, no! Here we go! Right at the front of the field! Wesley Donaldson involved. Jordan Berry might have some damage there. And that is going to allow... That's Seth Foudy involved. Martell. Looking to see Joe Hudson obviously heavily involved. I think, if I remember correctly, Hudson, one of the drivers right there. And unfortunately, you see some damage there on the 20. There's the one of Schweikert. He's the 10th place driver in points. Remember, he's close enough that he could fall out. Big moment here for the points. And just looking from where the view was there, it looks like that a driver had himself in kind of a bad spot. And let's go back here and show you the replay here. A lot of damaged cars involved in this. Starts up right there. Let's back up a little more. Unfortunately, they didn't give me a... Alright, so I'm going to hit stop real quickly here before we'll cover the pit stops here in a second. But where this starts, and this has happened so many times. So you got John Schweikert pushing the 51 of Martell. And let's go crash cam here. This will be the best way for me to explain this. So he's got 3 wide behind him, right? Okay, so Martell's getting pushed. Again, I'm Monday morning quarterbacking here, but I will say I've done the same thing. And a lot of us have done the same thing. But if I were to coach somebody in this, I would say, look, when you make a decision about a lane, you have to be precise and you need to make the move immediately. If you hesitate, nothing good's going to come out of it. And here's that example. So Martell, you see he's pushing, he's going to come to the bottom. Wants to go middle lane, but all of a sudden, look what happens. He loses all that momentum because he was just kind of slowly turning into the corner. He's got to yank the wheel left here, get in front of Gonzalez. But look, Schweikert's got the run, Gonzalez has got the run, now I'm seeing 4 wide. And he's in a bad spot there. And unfortunately, contact happens with the 26 to 91, and bam, the wreck. You see the 20 gets a lot of it there. 84, Calantoni, that's another driver on the bubble. The 22 of Rivera gets involved. And I'm not at all, let's clarify that, criticizing Martell or anything like that. I'm just stating that it's a very easy thing to do, is he's trying to help the 1 car, and what he probably, and he'll look at it and say, I should have probably stayed up there with the 1. Wow, Calantoni got hit pretty good. Seeing who else got some damage potentially in this. Mike Kelly gets through there, winds his way through it. It's a product of this racing, unfortunately, as we ride with Kelly here. Oh, he does get some damage. He gets into Glenn Campbell. That might have been Simley then going through. Oh, yeah, you can see the nose damage right there. Wesley Donaldson gets damage. You saw that. He was involved too. This is going to end up 15, 16, 17 cars probably involved. Let's go to the bubble guy. Brent Scott had lost the draft, actually. So he kind of put himself in a good spot. On board with Calantoni. He gets clipped twice. So caution out, and everybody has come to pit road. And Tyler Dalton going to be the leader. And of course, this being a big track, so the cautions are shortened, so you don't get much time to. Definitely wanted to show some more replays there, but unfortunately I couldn't. All right, Tyler Dalton, your leader. Jimmy Coleman on the outside lane will start there in the second position. Tommy Ryan third, Brian Macklin fourth, and Jeff Ryan your top five as we get ready to go green here at lap number 19. After the first wreck takes place, the first big one, and hopefully the only one. As pace car pulls in, completing lap number 19 here. Still, obviously, as we complete lap 20. 1/4 distance in. Some of the guys, obviously, got to try to feel out your car, those who were involved in that wreck, to see if their car is okay or not, or if they have to just now try to go into defense mode and run as many laps as possible here. As Jimmy Coleman leads that lap. So off the track after that wreck is Sean Macklin. John Schweikert is off the track. Matthew Martell, Joe Hudson, Seth Foudy off the track. Wesley Donaldson continues on. He is a lap down right now. Jose Gonzalez is just about to be lapped. There he is out here in front of the field. So with that, let's do this real quick. Let's pop up the point standings again. Obviously, you see the 10th place car involved in that wreck, 12th place car involved in that wreck, 14th involved in that wreck. And then you look down here, JP Phillips was involved. He had a kind of a slight chance of getting in it, but he still got a chance to get to the playoffs. Of course, Kevin Stone was involved in the lap 1 wreck. So already seeing some cars getting mixed up here. John Schweikert right now, 38th position. There's a chance he could fall from 10th all the way down, depending on how the drops and everything work out for him. So a lot of drama now coming into play already. Tommy Ryan going to go to the front, and he is going to try to close the door on Doy Woods up top there. Jimmy Coleman able to get back to the lead with help from his friend Tyler Dalton. You see now Ryan Macklin, who was hanging in the back. He's now worked his way up there. Jeff Ryan in the 3. There's Kevin Brown, the 93 car. And everybody's still going to have to come to pit road at least one more time before the end of this race to get fuel. There's still plenty of time here to kind of put yourself in the right spot. Appreciate all the viewers hanging out here tonight. Let's see who's checked in so far. Just a couple people here. Of course, Chris DeWeese, Doug Middendorf, the Braxton DeWeese fan club hanging out in chat here tonight. So appreciate you guys and everybody else who might be checking us out here tonight on the Captain Esports Network. Shout out to you guys. Got a bunch of YouTube shorts we're going to be launching out this week. And look at Randy Yoakum, who's taking advantage of that caution. He had lost the draft in that first wreck. That happened on lap 1. And here he is up the middle in that Virginia 811 car. And he's bringing Nelson Rivera, who was just involved in that wreck, to the front. Car. Steven Miles, see up the middle there, following a pretty good driver there from Pedro Mojica. Pedro, actually a former Super Speedway Series champion. The first series that we broadcasted on the Captain Esports Network in Sim500 was the Super Speedway Series on a Sunday. And Pedro Mojica actually won the championship in that as he started his streak that'll unfortunately end this season, by the way. But he started his streak of every series he raced on in the Captain Esports Network. He won a championship in. Don't believe me, go look it up. He won the Super Speedway Series. Oh, contact! 15 into the wall. 35 ends up on his lid. And John Mustian Jr. ends up on his top and unfortunately behind the wall. And caution out for the second time. And JP Phillips got some damage in that one. Oh, he gets kind of de-wedged there on the apron. Hold it, that's how you do it. Just slide it back. And just spins it out. Could have been a lot worse for that 20 car. Three cars involved in this technically. John Mustian Jr. ends up on the bad end of a contact there with Alan Wild. It's had Rivera that also. Let's go on board with 35 car for this one. It's got to be like a quiet ride. He ends up on his lid the whole entire way. So here we go with pit stops. And this is lap 27, so still shy of the number you need to get to go to the rest of the way on fuel. I would expect to see most of the field here. Probably fuel only here. As Brent Scott's going to stay out, it looks like a few cars going to stay out. Tyler Dalton going to be the first off pit road, fuel only there. So we'll take advantage of this real quick. We'll step away, get you another break, come back, and we'll get more racing here. Talladega Superspeedway. It is the NC811.org Xfinity Series here on the Captain Esports Network.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your very utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below before you dig. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are here. Talladega Superspeedway. Second caution is out for the three cars, the 35 of John Muschin Jr., the 15 of Alan Wild. You could add some damage on the 22 of Nelson Rivera, but then the 20 also of J.P. Phillips going around there to bring the second caution out. So, unfortunate break there. You see Justin Fuller in the 55 car. Started late, unfortunately. He lost out on a pretty good amount of laps. He's starting to pass cars now that are falling out of the race. But Fuller's still 8 laps down. Going to take a wave around, trying to gain as many laps as possible here. As the newest 1,000 start club member, Scott Simley, has joined us in chat. Appreciate Scott. Sorry to see him not out there on track here, I don't think. I mean, he might be pulling one on me here, so. But yeah, I don't see Simley here, so unfortunate there. But appreciate you watching, Scott, as always. On vacation. Oh, there you go. Nothing wrong with a little vacay time, huh? All right, so Fuller takes the wave around, and that's going to hand the lead over to Brent Scott and Mac McMillan, the teammates here. And, of course, Scott leading the lap's going to give him a bonus point. It's going to actually help him with the playoffs. You know, trying to get all the points he can here. As he, of course, entered this race as the bubble person. Of course, Tyler Dalton there on the outside lane. Barry Stevens on the inside in the 78. He's third. Jimmy Coleman, Pedro Mojica, Doy Woods, Kevin Brown, Eric Arnold, and Bob Gilliwater, your top 10. As we come to the green flag. And that outside line gets a pretty good jump there as Brent jumps up there with his teammate Mac McMillan. There's Dalton move to the bottom side here. And that definitely shuffled up the field a little bit there as you see Stevens kind of slowing up to try to back up to Jimmy Coleman. Mojica's going to get in line. Interesting. Look at them all scramble. short on fuel by about one stop. Probably another 20 laps or so, and you'll be in that number, 15, 20 laps. Don't have to worry about that too much anymore here, but that has not held the aggression back of this field at all. Look at McMillan getting pushed by Chad Coleman, the Iron Man on the outside. Brian Macklin, E.J. O'Rourke up there. Under 90 miles an hour, almost 200 miles an hour. Guess what? They're 3 wide, and they're coming up on a slow car in the top side here. Oh, this is going to be interesting, trying to pass the 91 of Wesley Donaldson here. Everybody does a good job holding their lane. As Coleman to the front, and A.J. O'Rourke is sideways in front of the field. Mike Kelly getting damage. Jimmy Coleman with damage. And the third caution. That actually did not look like that many cars in the end. It looked like it was going to be pretty big. As we see the replay here. O'Rourke up there, that top side. Gets Coleman clear. Tries to give Macklin a push here. He actually gets himself all crossed up there. And Brent Scott's going to get damage from it. You see Kevin Brown's nose. Oh, Brent gets heavy damage. That's the guy on the bubble right there. Eric Arnold with damage. Oh, a lot of playoff guys involved in this. Oh, Brent's got to be like, oh boy, on that one. Bob Gillenwater with damage. I mean, Brent might be okay. He's got some nose damage, obviously. Van Schaik, the SpongeBob Van Schaik car. Got a front row ticket coming here. Let's have it a hood. Gerald Livingston coming in there. Nice job by Charles to drive through there. Well done there. On board with Gerald. Into Jeff Ryan, unfortunately, and then he gets Eric Arnold, unfortunately. And Brian Wortman going to do Brian Wortman things and lead this lap as under caution here for the third time. let's take a peek now as that wreck happens. At the point standings again here. Let's pop it back up on the screen. As we look now at who is behind the wall and who is not. See, John Schweikert still behind the wall. So, it's going to be trouble for him. But here you go. Brent Scott involved. Eric Arnold involved. Calantoni, Gillenwater. All these guys have been involved in wrecks here so far. Right now, Josh Parker, Kevin Stone, Brian Wortman of all people, I joked with him last week about what could happen here tonight. I mean, these guys, if they get top 10 finishes or even win this race, could just slide their way right in and be in that field of 16 at race next week at Bristol. This is going to get hectic now. And Brian Wortman's actually going to stay out here. And he got himself a bonus point. He's going to lead him to the green. And from there, he'll probably fall to the back. As we have cars obviously topping off or getting damage fixed right now. As I look at the list of cars now behind the wall, we have John Mustian Jr., Levi Poland is behind the wall. William Kempf is behind the wall. Sean Macklin, John Schweikert, Matthew Martell, Joe Hudson, Seth Foudy. It is damaged car city in the infield right now. Scrapyard. If there's any race that you go out there and you know that you have to give it all to stay in the running, it is this race, so that you can try to, one, get yourself into the playoffs, but two, score as many points as possible. You never know how that could work out for you when it's all said and done. As we come to the green flag, Brian Wortman gonna lead them in the Racing with Jesus car, the Morgan Shepherd paint scheme. And we're going to take an opportunity to let you guys turn it up here as we go green. All right, somebody forgot to tell Wortman to go to the back. He's hanging out up here in the front. He's like, I want to lead some laps. Nothing wrong with that. Chad Coleman there in the middle. Kevin Brown now coming topside with Brian Macklin. Appreciate all the viewers hanging out with us this evening. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you, of course, coming to hang out with us each and every week. If it's Sunday nights only or throughout the week when we're on the air, we definitely appreciate it. Of course, Sim500.com has plenty of racing for you, as they've got the Superspeedway Series on Tuesday nights where they race a certain select car at Talladega each week. If it's 87s or the next gen or the B car, the C car, whatever it is, you can go join them and have some fun in that league. Of course, Friday night, the Midnight Thunder. You got the Cup Series on Mondays, so many different options, especially as you go into 2025. If you want to get involved in Sim500, you can go to sim500.com or reach out to Joey Gittino, or you can just chat with him because he's hanging out here. Not with me, but he's in chat on YouTube right now. Or on the Facebook page of Captain, or of the Sim500 League. So, either way, got plenty of options to talk to Joey. As we come back by to complete halfway this time by, as now Kevin Brown with help from Chad Coleman. Leads the halfway point. Tommy Ryan right there. Brian Macklin on that outside lane. And there's that 18 of Jordan Berry, as I mentioned. As Kevin leads, Tommy Ryan drops to the bottom. Wortman still hanging out up there. He's realizing this is his chance now. He sees who's all involved in wrecks. And Wortman's like, hey, okay, he's going to get out. I was like, wait a minute, is he going to drive this thing to the bottom and make a move? And he thinks better of it now. I'm going to go to the back, let himself a couple laps. Did a good job of hanging out up there in the front. And I'm sure we'll see him back here in a little bit as the racing picks up. Stephen Miles starting to join the battle now. So is Randy Yoakum. You just start to see the cars who have the damage, who doesn't have damage. Here's your regular season champion, Braxton DeWeese, just hanging out there. You see the 84 with a little bit of scrapes, a little bit of, looks like a broken fender right there next to the John Boy media line. Right front with some damage. Just got to be patient in this kind of race. It's obviously plenty of things are going to happen when you have a few aggressive guys that are up there racing hard. And you got a lot of guys that are up here racing that are comfortable with each other. And allows them to go 3 wide up there at the front. As here comes Kelly. Had some damage earlier on his car, the Daytona winner. As Brian Macklin aborts and heads to the back. Oh, and Coleman's going to get turned. He and Jordan Berry get together, and then Alan Wild gets collected. No caution yet as Coleman's on the apron. couple cars pretty much stopping as now EJ O'Rourke's trying to get going. Still no caution. I would have thought EJ almost stopping on the track would bring the caution out there in the corner, but apparently not. Coleman, unfortunately, I think gets turned by the 18. We'll look at it again here. Goes down here, slams Allen. As others kind of check up here, and you're going to see the 41 pretty much woes it up big time over here in turn 3. Pretty much stops the car. Watch this. Here's direct first off. Yeah, right there, Barry gets in the back of Coleman. Answer EJ here. Doing all types of hands and feet on the wheel, and alrighty then. That's going to break this field up a lot. So lead pack now has roughly about 11 cars in it on the lead lap, maybe a couple lap cars in there. And JP Phillips is kind of out there on his own a little bit there. Brian Macklin has Josh Parker, and then Braxton Deweese has some cars back here as he's trying to push Wesley Donaldson as much as he can in the 15th position right now. That might have been the incident that opens up this race now for it to go green and strategy to come into play, because sometimes you get those kind of little mishaps there that don't bring the yellow out, and all of a sudden your packs aren't that big. And then you almost have like a little dash amongst cars on the lead lap and those in the lead packs and so on and so forth. Your other pack of cars here. Christopher Dean there in the 86 car. Rivera with no rear bumper. That can't be helping him. Calantoni with damage also on the 84. As they try to get up here and get lined up and get into a draft together. As all of a sudden now Stephen Miles goes to the front. Pedro Mojica. As we come to 32 laps to go, Tommy Ryan losing the lead, falling back to the end of this pack. I think he's going to pick up the 20 of JP Phillips here potentially and bring him along. But coming up to 30 laps to go, still got one more pit stop to get to the end of this race. And of course, you got to wonder about those who are right on that bubble, right within range to jump into the playoffs. If you're Charles Van Schaik right now, was he 12th, I believe, entering the race in points. So now he's got a chance to obviously stay safe here. If he can just finish the race, he's good to go. Kevin Stone right now in the 19th position. Is that enough to jump him up into the playoffs? Eric Arnold, who is got him in 22nd right now. He was 10 points ahead, or 10 points behind the 33 of Brent Scott, who is in the 23rd position right now. So Arnold's got to get whatever he can get. Problem is they're both damaged and in trouble. So again, a lot of just different things that can come into play here. And unfortunately, so many things that are out of your control right now. All right, so I don't want to miss the last pit stops here if we do get them under green. So let's go ahead and step away here from 811, come back, and get you to the finish of this NC811.org Xfinity Series race, Sim500 here on the Captain Esports Network.
What a nice day to install my new mailbox.
Hi there, friend. I'm Dig Safely Man. My job is to ensure you call 811 before you dig.
Why do I need to do that?
Vital utilities like natural gas and electric run just beneath the Earth's surface. Damaging them can cause service interruption, environmental hazards, or personal injury.
I thought only contractors had to call before they dig, so homeowners do too.
Call 3 business days before you dig unless you have X-ray vision. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are here at Talladega Superspeedway. As we were going off, you saw E.J. Rourke get lapped there by the field, but Kevin DeBrown now leading. Stephen Miles, Pedro Mojica, the 44 of Glenn Campbell, and then Tyler Dalton inside line of that 19. And now you got to find out who your friends are, who wants to race with you here. You got a few guys from Team Name or the WBD iCast channel. You've got some lap cars in there. You got a smorgasbord, if you will, of people. So I look over here. Front pack by 10 seconds right now over Braxton, who's got a pack of a few cars here. They're trying to make way. And if they could stay single file and connected a little more than they are right now, I mean, they could do it, but you see Macklin's popping out of line there on the 86. They got to get straightened up. I mean, Fuller's the perfect guy to get behind Braxton to push. But I think if you're Dean, you got to get right up on that 55. The 30's got to get up on the 86. Now, I will put this out there. Dean and Stephen Miles are good friends. So I would not be surprised to see Dean potentially not want to push this pack and get him up there. But I don't want to say that 100% only because, I mean, Miles is well into the playoffs. Obviously, he's clinched, but at the same time, teammates are going to help teammates. So you got Kevin DeBrown, Pedro Mojica, you got Stephen Miles on the outside, Glenn Campbell, Randy Yoakum, Mike Kelly. Oh, don't tell me that. Might be, is it because I'm quiet? I'm like not talking all the time? As Kelly gets shuffled out of line here a little bit. Charles Van Schaik, Doy Woods, obviously there, Tommy Ryan and others as they come by, 26 laps to go. And just a question comes down to when does everybody come to pit road here? And that time by, it looks like that second pack did make up some room on that front pack. As they put a lap on Seth Foudy. After this pack, you got pretty much just a mixed group of guys rolling with each other, 2 or 3 cars and stuff like that. So again, once everything is all said and done next week, the start of the playoffs here, 16 drivers, and the playoffs over here in Sim500 a little bit different than what you might be used to seeing in NASCAR, of course. And it actually starts with 4 races and basically 16 drivers. And then after 4 races, the top 8 move on. And then after 4 more races, we crown a champion. So 8 races, 16 drivers, And it all starts next week at Bristol Motor Speedway for race number 1. Then they take July 4th weekend off. We go to the 2009, the Retro Legacy, whatever you want to call it, Texas Motor Speedway. Then it's the Richmond Raceway on July 21st, 28th of July, Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then the 4th of August, as will be the first of the final round, if you will, the round of 8. Vegas, Charlotte, Iowa, and Homestead Miami Speedway to finish it out August 25th. Of course, the Cup side, they still have plenty of races to go. And the reason it's set up like this in Sim500, for those that are curious, is because what usually happens in September on Sundays? Well, football begins. So it allows those drivers who are football fans and stuff, they can go focus on enjoying their favorite NFL team on Sundays and stuff, and still get a good full season of 28 races in. That's something that started about 3 seasons ago, I would say. All right, second pack has knocked it down to 8.3 seconds from that front pack. So Macklin and Fuller and these guys trying to get them back together in this pack. Fuller doing a great job. Of course, he unfortunately missed the beginning of this race, so he is in 29th right now, 6 laps down. He's made up 2 or 3 laps on wave around, so he needs Carnage to break out basically here in the next 23 laps for him to even have a shot to get a lead lap finish here. But of course, he's more just, I think, damage control and making sure he's set up to go in the playoffs starting next week. Of course, he's in too, along with the others. And this is the main reason right here why they're catching him in that main pack. This the front pack here is side by side with Kevin Brown now up front with Mohican, Glenn Campbell, and Stephen Miles. There's J.P. Phillips kind of hanging out in the back here of this train of cars that are coming up on another small pack of cars as Nelson Rivera comes to pit road. Of course, anything can happen in these races, and I talked about it during the pre-race show. I can pull up an archive of Sim500 broadcasts of super speedways, and I can find you at least 75%, maybe 80% that have something major happen on the last lap for carnage to happen, and everything just get flipped. So just because you're somebody like Kevin Stone in the 16th position right now needing a miracle doesn't mean that miracle will not hit you. The example I bring up there, Atlanta Motor Speedway, race 1 of the off-season last season in 2023. There was a big wreck coming off turn 4. Brian Wertman was hanging on there in the 8th position, just riding. Field wrecks, he drives right past the other 7 in the victory lane at Atlanta. It can happen. Anybody can do it. You know, if you need a real life example, go back to the 2011 Xfinity race where James Buescher was running like 12th or something like that when a wreck broke out on the final lap off turn 4 at Daytona, and Buescher went to victory lane that day. Pack down to 6.6 seconds now, as all of a sudden something has gone. Oh, Fuller's blowing up. Got the car too hot, and unfortunately, boom goes the dynamite, and Fuller comes to pit road. And last week's winner, Watkins Glen, unfortunately going to be out of the race. As teammates push each other to the front here now, is Mike Kelly getting pushed by Van Schaik. We ride with the Northern Tool number 99 car. As Tommy Ryan has said before in many broadcasts, it's the perfect tandem right here. If you plan to dig, call 811 before you do so. And at the same time, if you're going to dig, use an item from Northern Tool. Again, appreciate the viewers hanging out here this evening. If you're new to that chat, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. Tomorrow night, we're back in action in the NC811 Cup Series. After a race at the Iowa Speedway, we go to Nashville, Music City tomorrow night. Hopefully you can join us at 8:15 Eastern Time. Of course, Kevin King has won 5 races in a row over there, and probably shouldn't have gotten that 5th one when we look at it logically, but things worked out. Fuller was leading the race off going into turn 3, I should say. Went down to protect the bottom lane and unfortunately got all types of out of shape and lost the lead and lost the race coming to the line. And what was one of the crazier finishes I've seen on iRacing. Who's going to victory lane? Will we see a first-time winner here tonight? Will we see a repeat winner tonight? Got plenty of drivers in here that have never won a race before, and now want to throw an added factor into this. You see the 31 car of Eric Arnold. You see the 33 of Brent Scott in this pack. Those cars have just been recently lapped by the leaders. So these guys are now racing for a potential lucky dog if a caution comes out. Not to mention, again, Eric Arnold is right there on the edge of the playoffs, and Brent Scott is the bubble guy. And on iRacing, if you've don't know how the iRacing Lucky Dog works. It works pretty much the same as NASCAR, except there's one little caveat. On iRacing, if the car involved is supposed to be the Lucky Dog, in NASCAR normally they just eliminate the Lucky Dog for that caution and say nobody gets it. On iRacing, they find the first person that was not involved in the wreck, and that person gets the Lucky Dog. So if these guys would have wrecked right here, and you see the 31 get tangled, the 33 get involved, hypothetically, you could look at a situation where an E.J. O'Rourke or a Jimmy Coleman or something like that gets the lucky dog instead of one of those guys, and it really puts them in a box. Because unfortunately, when you're a lap down, there's only so many positions you can gain. As there's the second pack, 5.5 seconds now. So Brian Macklin has picked up where Fuller left off. And that train looks very organized. His pushing is an art, especially in this car. The bumpers do not line up. As you see, you've got to be pretty much square. You cannot be to the left. You don't want to be really to the right. You want to be square with that car. So 13 laps to go. As you see, Macklin doing a real good job of squaring up. If you're new on iRacing, if you're the front car, don't look back. It's one trick that's easy to do is you want to mirror drive, and then all of a sudden you make it unpredictable for that car behind you. If you're the car behind, you just get up there and you try to hit the man square, and hopefully he's staying right to that yellow line or whatever lane he's in. And you got to make sure you watch the temps. Make sure you do not get that temp in the red. If you're using your tachometer, it can flash red. If you use there's a D button you can use in the car that actually brings up your RPM and temps and stuff like that. It's actually a pretty good tool to use. But you do not want that thing to go into red. Any kind of slip into red, and you put your engine at risk to blow up. It can blink for a good lap or so before it blows up. It could blink and immediately blow up. I've seen it all. Mike Kelly trying to lead this race there. Moves up to the top side with his teammate there, Kevin DeBrown, the ever so aggressive 93 car. As it is 4.2 seconds now from the second pack to the lead pack. As a matter of fact, you see him coming to the tri-oval right now as these guys cross the start-finish line. Brian Wortman coming to pit road here. Remember, he did not pit at that last caution, so he had to make this stop. But everybody else has got to make that stop too here, and I'm surprised you have not seen cars come earlier. Wortman probably going to do fuel only, if not 2 tires here. I would do 2 tires in this situation only because it'll help you get the grip out of the tires off pit road. If you take fuel only, you're risking spinning the tires and not getting a good exit launch, where 2 tires, you'll get the grip you need to get out of pit road. It's very tricky to do. 10 laps to go this time. As there you see Wortman coming off pit road. Of course, pit road's a whole nother monster, by the way, when it comes to getting things figured out, because on this track, once you go to the apron and go to pit road, you have no spotter. So it is a matter of knowing who is around your car at that moment, know whose pit stops are where, whose pit boxes are, know where you started, know where they started. And trust me, these guys don't remember most of that. So I've actually found myself recently when I run these kind of tracks, as we got pit stops happening here, Yoakum, Tommy Ryan, JP Phillips coming to pit road. But I'll literally come out on the microphone if I'm running like 5th or whatever. I'll say, hey, so-and-so, where'd you start? And that'll kind of tell me, okay, this guy's pit stalls before mine or after mine, because all the pit stalls are set up by where you started in the race. As Tommy Ryan leaves pit road, Randy Yoakum leaves pit road. Phillips with a slower stop. He must have sped on pit road on entry. Oh, no. The very slim chance of JP Phillips getting into the playoffs might have just went up in smoke, and here come the leaders to pit road. A couple of team name guys here. Kevin DeBrown, Pedro Mojica, Stephen Miles. As Mojica launches out, that's fuel only for the 58. Kevin DeBrown took 4 tires. Pedro Mojica fuel only. And Stephen Miles fuel only maybe. Could have taken tires, potentially. Kevin DeBrown, that is not a mistake you want to make here. A 4-tire stop, it looks like, when you're on the edge of the playoffs. As more cars to pit road, Charles Van Schuyck comes in, Doy Woods, Mike Kelly, Josh Parker, Cal and Tony all coming in. Wesley Donaldson, Everybody pretty much fuel only, it looks like. See the field now kind of getting separated out here a little bit. Got to work together in draft now. They're trying to keep yourself organized, and let's see who comes to pit road here. Tyler Dalton going to come. Bob Gilliwater, Glenn Campbell goes all the way down to Birmingham as Dalton and Gilliwater about hit each other. Dean on pit road, so is the three of Jeff Ryan. Should be fuel only, I would think, if not two tires for a lot of these guys if you did not speed on pit road. And I think Tyler Dalton sped on pit road, unfortunately. Or did he get an unsafe entrance from maybe some contact? Dalton obviously is well into the playoffs here. Here come Brian Macklin, Braxton DeWeese into pit road. McMillan is on. They're going to hit each other here. Trying to get everything they can get. Yeah, Dalton just leaving his pit stall, so that tells me speeding on pit road or an unsafe entrance. One of the two could have happened. I'll have to go back, and if I get a chance to, there we go. There's Mac and those guys on pit road. So here comes your lead pack now, as Josh Parker with issues. Oh, and contact Dean into Seth Foudy. I did not see what happened to Parker, but heavy damage there. And Parker is right on the bubble. He's got to get his best finish he can. Stuff happening everywhere now. Oh, Parker got into Dean. Dean gets turned sideways. They continue to hit each other. I don't know what happened there. Things are happening everywhere now. As your leader, Pedro Mojica. Stephen Miles pushing him there in second. Mike Kelly on the outside with Campbell. As Mac McMillan, I think, got a speeding penalty. You know, four laps to go. You do get 2 overtimes if needed. But right now, it looks like you got about 7 cars in the running here. 8 cars with a chance. Just to update, Brent Scott, 22nd position right now. Eric Arnold in 18th. That is not enough for Eric to jump to Brent. The names we need to watch right now, Josh Parker, Kevin Stone potentially, and we need to see where John Schweikert ends up at, as he is 40th now on the grid. With 3 laps to go, we are going to see a huge shuffle coming here in a minute into the playoffs and who gets in and who doesn't. I said there was going to be drama. I said this would probably be the craziest race all this coming week right here. And unfortunately, I don't have the technology to show you how crazy it is. If I had the points as of now, I'm sure that would be going bananas. Now, like I said earlier in the pre-race, you had who's this coming to pit road? Is that Randy Oakham? Who's coming to pit road? I said earlier, 79 laps to this race, or a heat race. Then there's the actual race that begins right now. Final lap from Talladega. Who helps who here? There's a pack up ahead here. I don't think they're going to get to them. As Steven makes the move to the outside. Doy Wood's going to get to the back of the 58 here. What does Mike Kelly do? Tommy Ryan's starting to make moves down to the top side. As they race to the start-finish line, Pedro Mojica, I believe, got him. Parker going to try to make a move on Ryan for a spot. I think he got him. No, he didn't. Ryan got it. Or I'm sorry, Jeff Ryan was a lap down. Never mind. So Parker got that position. I got Ryan's mixed up there. But look at there, the champ back in victory lane from last season. And the good news for the field is this is not a win and get in type thing. Well, he might have snuck in, but he only made a couple of races there, so. Sim500 of Superspeedway Series and other stuff. There it goes, finally. As the 2023 champ goes to victory lane here in Talladega tonight. Congratulations to him as we look at the final results. As Mojica wins it over Stephen Miles by 3/100ths. Doy Woods finishes third, Mike Kelly fourth, and Charles Van Schaik finishes fifth. And likely, obviously, Van Schaik is in to the playoffs there. Glenn Campbell, Tommy Ryan, Josh Parker could be in. We'll have to see here in a second. Kevin Brown, Anthony Calantoni likely has worked his way into the playoffs. We'll have to see in a second. Brian Wortman, he was pretty far back. So I'm not sure about him, unfortunately. He's going to probably fall up a little short, but a good 11th place finish there. Kevin Stone, 12th. Randy Oakham, 13th. Bob Gillenwater, 14th. Braxton DeWeese finishes in the 15th position, but still the regular season champion. As we look at the rest of the field here, Tyler Dalton, 16th. Mac McMillan, 17th. Eric Arnold, 18th. Jeff Ryan, E.J. O'Rourke, 20th. Jose Gonzalez, 21st. Brent Scott, 22nd. Nelson Rivera, 23rd. J.P. Phillips, 24th. Brian Macklin, 25th. Jimmy Coleman, 26th. Christopher Dean, 27th for Coleman. Stevens, 26th. Dean, 28th. 29th, Donaldson. 30th, Justin Fuller. 31st, Chad Coleman. Jordan Berry, 32nd. Alan Wild, 33rd. Seth Foudy, Gerald Livingston. You're 35. And then Mustian, Poland, Kemp, Macklin, Schweikert, Martell, Hudson. And Keith Haney, I think, ended up at Birmingham accidentally at the road course. But top three finishers, and we'll see who else we can get a word with here as me actually peek, because these guys are really quick at getting the points updated. And not quite yet, so we'll get it done here momentarily. We'll talk to our top 3 finishers here tonight as old Alabama boy Doy Woods goes to celebrate a 3rd place finish, as he's known as 28 Savage in Discord. No word if he says 28 after every sentence, but Doy does celebrate a top 3 finish for him. So congratulations, Doy. Obviously, bringing Davey Allison, that home paint scheme there for you, to a 3rd place finish here tonight. Your best finish, I believe, of the season. So great job on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been a part-time schedule. We haven't got a lot of guys at the shop turning the wrenches, and we needed this, and hopefully this can spring us forward to have maybe a shot at a victory.
Yeah, obviously it's a race that helped you a ton, and I know you know how to get around this Talladega Superspeedway along with the others, but talk about the racing out there, because obviously you had a couple of big wrecks there, and then you had the wreck that kind of broke the pack up, and from there it turned into find a partner and get the best stops you can.
Yeah, I was real loose at the beginning. I tell you, I'm glad I had on the right pair of pants on, because I did a couple of times at the beginning. It was wild. I tell you, I could have easily, been the guy that messed up the field 2 or 3 times at the beginning of the race. It was so wild. I backed off. I didn't like what I was seeing, and I just got out of there, and everybody wrecked, or not everybody. There was a few cautions, and missed them. Had a little bit of damage on one, but they pulled the fenders out, and it just worked out the end to help a teammate, and a 1st and 3rd's pretty awesome. And hey, we won a lot of money tonight.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and send some shout-outs to whoever you like to.
Yeah, all the guys on the team channel, everybody that makes this happen, everybody, even you, Joey. We love you so much, and it takes a lot to make this happen, and when it goes good, it just feels so good.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight, man. Hopefully the best here, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow night at Nashville.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Doy Woods finishing in the top 3 here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway, his home track there, and obviously always good to see the Davey Allison colors out there on the track. So we'll move 28 Savage back down here to his channel. And our runner-up here, Stephen Miles, of course, 2nd place in points, officially going into the playoffs here, is obviously probably wishes there was 8 super speedway races, probably helping get good finishes. But on what top 3 is, what, 1st at Daytona, 2nd here. 1st race you had a few wrecks, unfortunately, but these super speedways getting some good finishes.
Yeah, the mile and a half super speedways is kind of my game or whatever. This race pretty much went how I expected it to. Shout out to Tyler Dalton putting up that fast qualifying lap. I was really trying to practice on that, and yeah, it was a good race, man. A good race all in all.
Obviously, this is the point now where it all starts to count from here. You go to Bristol next week, and everybody's back equal. You got your chance here to go get a championship. So how do you reset your mind knowing you're going up against a very tough group of guys?
Same mindset since I'm going for championships in a lot of other leagues, and right there, since watching this league, my favorite driver was Pedro, and it was kind of cool pushing him there at the end. And
that's true, yeah.
I was getting kind of hot, and I didn't want to leave him, but at the same time, I was like, I'm gonna go for my win. And 1st season in this league, I'm 2nd in the standings behind Weiss, which he's an awesome driver. But yeah, you're right. The show starts now, and it starts at Bristol, which I hope we don't have a Dover remake or nothing like that, and have a good show there. And yeah, it's time to drive hard now.
Well, great job tonight, man. Send some shout outs to whoever you like to.
Shout out Laser Racing, Joey, and all the admins for putting on this league. Shout out to the best broadcaster out there, you Scholar. Good win for Pedro. Wish he raced the whole season. I could learn something from him. And shout out to the field for pretty much a good race and a close finish. Shout out to my baby for sitting here beside me and going to sleep. And he cried for the first 50 laps, and I was finally able to calm him down, and then I could get to work. And shout out my girlfriend and God and my parents, and that'll be it.
That's a spotter.
Yeah, but he was yelling at me and he was distracting me. I was like Larson
Oh boy.
today.
Oh boy. Don't say that.
But yeah. Oh yeah, shout out to the fans, man. Everybody that's watching, man, and shout out to Weez for winning the regular season championship.
There you go, man. He could have the regular season. It's your turn to go get the actual title.
I ain't gonna say, we got so many good drivers. Any one of us can win. Well, I
Fair.
say us, but anybody can win, and it's gonna be whoever does win the championship, they're gonna deserve it for sure.
There you go, man. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stephen Miles finishing in the second position, second place in points, and obviously he'll be at Bristol next week ready to go in that race. So, oh man. Let's talk to the winner, and then I'll unveil the points here to the crowd, because when you see this, you can't make things up. I'm just going to put it like that. And our winner tonight, I'm trying to think how I want to intro him here, but of course he's the champ from last season, Pedro Mojica, winning both the Cup and the regular season, or I should say the Cup and the Xfinity title, as I stall here for a second to get him set up and move him up here to the booth. But Pedro Mojica goes to victory lane here tonight at the track known as Talladega Superspeedway. Pedro, obviously, I guess it wouldn't be right if you weren't in victory lane at one point this season with me on a broadcast, but I think this breaks your longest losing streak on my channel.
Oh, I guess I wasn't keeping count, but
I
yeah,
wouldn't either. It's just more of a matter you have been racing.
Yeah, it's been a little while. I know even with getting back into it, we've been close. We've been close a couple times, knocking the rust off. So, no, man, it feels good. It feels good to get a win, especially at Super Speedway, man. Like I feel like this type of racing. I know I was a Super Speedway champion a couple winters ago, but a lot of that was just consistency more than anything. I maybe won 2 or 3 races, and a lot of that was like the '87 car with the COT. So, like trucks and Cup and Xfinity, it's I either get a top 5 or I'm wrecked. So I don't get to win these like that many times. So it's actually pretty cool that it all fell together for me. We dodged 2 wrecks that happened like literally either right in front of us or right beside me. So we missed that, got through that. So you need a little luck to get through those, and then just nailed the stop. Had help from Miles. Luckily we had help from Miles there because Kevin accidentally took tires on his pit stop. We had planned it. It felt like we got in our boxes pretty good, and then he comes over the chat saying that he checked tires, or he had tires checked still. So I lost him there, and I got nervous there. I was going to be by myself, but luckily Steven Miles came out with me. We worked well together there to get out in front of everybody, and then it was just kind of holding my line there, just being patient, and just watching the runs, and just, I felt like the bottom was the best for me there. So I was a couple times tempted to go high, but I didn't want to give up that bottom. I just felt like even though the top would get runs, like the bottom was a little bit more consistent, and it worked out in the end.
Well, obviously, in that race, you had so many things going on, and it's funny you mentioned the seasons. Of course, you won that 2022 winter season championship in the super speedways, and then you go out here and you win that Xfinity title last season, and the funny part to all of this is the fact that when you were doing all this after the super speedway season, it became I'm doing good at everywhere but super speedway thing. And I mean, I think your average finish at one point was like 30th on super speedways, but yet you were winning everything else. And then here tonight, you show up part-time and you go to victory lane on a super speedway. So it's just weird how it all works out.
Yeah, it's just a cycle. I mean, all of us know that with speedways, man. It just seems like you go through a vicious cycle. You'll go through and you'll wreck 4 or 5 races in a row, and then you'll go through and you'll finish top 5 and maybe get a win or 2 for the next 4 or 5 races. So it's just a cyclical thing with these tracks. But I will say, I think 2 years ago, it was really rough when I won the first Xfinity Championship. Last year was better. We were able to finish top 15, I think, in all of them except for maybe one.
Right.
But I guess in the end, where it mattered most, when we had the speedways in the playoffs, we were able to click off top 5s and good finishes to help, propel us to the championships the last 2 years. So, yeah, it's just, I try to be real meticulous when I make my moves and try to position myself in the right areas around the right time. Just kind of feel the, I guess as Denny Hamlin says, the energy of the pack. You try to get a feel for that as you're racing and see, oh, well, yeah, I feel like I need to either be here or no, you know what, I need to bail out and go in the back.
Well, it worked out for you, man. Congratulations, and send some shout-outs.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Chris. I'm glad to I got to talk to you in Victory Lane.
Yes, sir.
It's been a little way. It's been a little bit, but I'm glad we're back in Victory Lane. I appreciate you and Captain Esports for putting on broadcast. So even when I'm not racing, I enjoy watching the broadcast you put on, man. It's top notch. I have a lot of fun watching it.
Appreciate it.
All the admins at Sim500, I appreciate them, everything they do for the league. NC811, appreciate them and everything you do and they do for the league and sponsoring not only the Sunday series but also the Monday series. So they give us a lot of support and just remind everybody, call before you dig, really important. So everybody on Team Name, appreciate them. We were really working well together tonight. Just unfortunate some of us got caught up in wrecks, but I think in the end, I think Josh actually made the playoffs. I think they were tied. We were just talking about that down there. I think he was tied, and because he has a win, that gets him in to the playoffs. So congrats to him. I think Kevin got a solid finish, so he gets in as well after almost not making it. He had issues just before the race even started. So just a lot of emotions in the channel, but everybody made it to the playoffs that needed to get in, and I got the win, and had a good night overall for the team.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job. I was just actually looking through things here really quickly, and your last time you went to Victory Lane from all your starts was the last time you and I talked in Victory Lane, the Cup Series finale in Vegas last year, when you went to Victory Lane in that one. So, yeah, it's good to have you back here in your 10th Super Speedway win, according to Sim Racer Hub.
Oh, nice. Well, I'll take that. That's good.
So, great job, man. And send some shout-outs, which you pretty much did, but, any other shout-outs you have. Otherwise, we'll talk again tomorrow.
I think that's everybody for the most part. But yeah, no, it was fun racing. Good racing over there towards the end with everybody in that lead pack. That was good racing, and didn't have to worry about getting turned coming at the finish line. So I appreciate that and the clean racing that we had up front.
Cool, man. Great job tonight.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Pedro Mojica, the winner here tonight. Appreciate all the viewers watching it. I'm just watching the channel here. Appreciate everybody for hanging out here. Got a little bit of a interesting situation. You kind of heard Pedro mention it there in the chat, in the interview there, that, yeah, we have a tie for the final position in the playoffs. And it's going to come down to a win, which is ironic in this whole thing. And I'm bringing Parker up here because we're going to play it like I'm serious when I say this. So I'm putting this out there in front of everybody right now. But obviously, I'm joking. So let's get Parker. Is he even in? He better be in here. We'll go down here to this Discord page. Yeah, he's right there. Okay, so here we go. Let's get Parker up here into the booth, because I want to go back to a few weeks ago when I told this man that he had not won an Xfinity race in 2 years. He proceeds to go win the next race that we've talked about and go to Victory Lane, and now that win has put him into the playoffs. So, Josh Parker, is there anything in line for me if you win this championship now? We think... I know Parker's here. Did he not come up there? He's here. He just hadn't spoken yet. I think he stepped away for a second. So, we'll hold tight here. But you saw the point standings as I showed them there up on the screen. I'll put them back up there again for everybody to see real quickly. But Parker ties. Brent Scott, unfortunately... Where's my button at? There it is. Falls out of the playoffs. Eric Arnold, unfortunately, misses it by 10 points. That's actually last. Never mind. That's not even the updated points here. I thought I had them right. Give me a second here. had them saved. Points right there. All right, there you go. There's your updated point standings. Hey, you too. I think my system's messing up on me here. There we go. Point standings looking like that as you see Parker gets in by zero, by the win, basically, when it's all said and done. Over Brent Scott. Eric Arnold falls just short by 7 points. Kevin Stone falls by 11. And, of course, Brian Wortman, valiant effort, unfortunately, just falls up 17 points short of getting in. As he said, he didn't feel like he had a chance, but he almost got there within 17 points. You look at Schweikert's rough finish. He falls down there, almost getting to the bubble. Gillen, Water, Rivera, all those guys here. Is Josh make it back yet? He hasn't yet, so. Oh, well, we'll pick on him in the next broadcast and go from there. We'll let him get back to his duties here as they're all reviewing the race. So, oh, what a race that was. Fun. Talladega, as always. We're going to head out. We'll come back tomorrow from Nashville Superspeedway and the 811 Cup Series. But a big congratulations to Pedro Mujica. Welcome back to Victory Lane, to the champ. And now we go to the playoffs. Bristol Motor Speedway next Sunday night. We kick off race number 1 of 4. Who will help themselves into the group of 8 that'll race for the championship in a little over a month from now? We will find out. But always remember, as we head out, first off, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and enjoy the rest of your weekend before the week begins. And always remember, this isn't just a game.
It's copyrighted broadcast.
Thank God, Casey. You can hold on a second there. Always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation from the Captain Esports Network.